Should I, does it matter if I'm on Zoom or not? Do you know if they'll see me on it?
Yeah, they'll see.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Good.
Thank you so much for allowing me the time and the mic to share this information with you. Definitely not information that's very well welcomed often. It's kind of a heavy topic. So we're just going to do kind of a overview highlights of what is human trafficking, what does it look like here, and what are we doing about it. So as Ken said, I am the founder of Tigerlili Resources. Started the organization back in 2014, and we originally were serving suddenly single moms. And that was based off of my life. I was married for 13 years and became a suddenly single mother. And in that time, walked a very, very dark, worthless, broken time of my life. Fast forward a little bit, I'm originally from the St. Louis area, came back here, I was in Florida for about 15 years, came back here in 2015, bringing Tigerlili with us. And the mission took a turn in 2016, 2017. We stopped serving suddenly single moms and incorporated serving adult female survivors of human trafficking because I am a survivor myself. I did not know that I was trafficked. I thought that was just my life. And then I realized and learned that it was a thing. It was actually something that happened to me. It was actually a crime, and it hit me like a freight train. So we started the organization, our mission. Let's see if we can switch this. There we go. Yeah. What happened? We're not working. Pause for 1 second. Yep, what's that? Yeah. Yeah. Boldness. Yeah. What'd you hit?
Just the arrow. Try it now. Try go back and try it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So our mission is to expose the dark realities of human sex trafficking in the United States of America by enlightening the multitudes to the truths of this crime, exposing buyers and sellers, and serving survivors while supporting various ministries nationwide that are also in the fight. There are not very many of us across the country. Our vision is to see a day when human sex trafficking is fully exposed through teams of ministries and public servants, shining light in the darkness while survivors recover and grow in strength and purpose to experience a great life, happy, whole, and healed. Human trafficking is not just a foreign issue. It happens here in every state, every city, every town, every community, every neighborhood, everywhere. If anybody has this in their hand, they can fall victim. So we're going to do just an overview of what are we talking about. A lot of people have a very jaded outlook when they hear human trafficking. They picture abductions, they picture the big scary van and somebody being swept off the street and then shipped off to far off lands, which that does happen. But in America, it's very slow and strategic, methodical, and manipulative. So there's a process, usually, when I said if you have a phone in your hand, you can become victim of it. Boys are not exempt from this either. And actually, boys are a big target when it comes to phones. So that starts with what is called sextortion. What is sextortion? Has anybody ever heard of that term anyway? Raise your hands. Awesome. Okay. So sextortion starts on your phone. It's the act of threatening to share nude or explicit images. Sextortion employs non-physical forms of coercion to extort sexual favors from victims. Boys are huge victims of this, and they carry a lot of shame and guilt. And a lot of times it ends in them ending their life. Has anybody heard of CSAM, child sexual abuse material? All right, it was formerly known as child pornography. They changed that by federal standards because anytime you say the word pornography, it lends to consent, and a child cannot consent to any of that. So they've changed the term to child sexual abuse material, which is any visual depiction of sexually explicit conduct involving a person less than 18 years old. And the reason they call it sexual abuse material is because every time that image or video is shared or watched, that child is abused over and over and over and over. Those two things can lead to child trafficking. This one, I really want this to sink into your psyche, okay? What is child trafficking? It is the recruiting, enticing, harboring, transporting, providing, obtaining, advertising, maintaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a person under 18 years old, knowing or recklessly disregarding that the person is a minor and is that the person will be caused to engage in a commercial sex act. Now, those are typically the chains of events. Is one going to lead to the other? Not necessarily, but often. So the sextortion turns into the production of the material. They gain pictures, they gain video, and then they sell it over and over again. When that material gets sold, it goes out to the demand, increasing the need for actually making that fantasy a reality, and then the trafficking takes place. Another thing that is actually becoming more known, it's always been around, but it's never been acknowledged in such a way, is satanic ritual abuse. The FBI released a report, which you can find if you want to take a screenshot of that. You can see the website, but these all go hand in hand. This is a very, very dark underbelly world. So what is SRA? It is abuse that occurs in a context linked to some symbols or group activity that have a religious, magical, or supernatural connotation, and where the invocations of these symbols or activities are repeated over time and used to frighten and intimidate children. Ritual abuse consists of the brutal physical, sexual, and psychological abuse inflicted on children and adolescents or adults and involves the use of rituals. This is some of the deepest trauma that you do not want to know. And honestly, this evil, it cannot have our kids. Now, when I said that this happens in America everywhere, what's actually happening around here? This was a release. Now, all of these that I'm going to share happened in the last month, and there are so many more than these. But this was from December 4th, a St. Louis man sentenced to 84 months in prison on child pornography charge. They have not caught up to the fact that it's not child pornography. But David Corte Dawes, 37, was arrested in order to pay $10,000 to the victims, which is nowhere near enough at all. He admitted that he was in about 25 groups that shared CSAM on messaging app Kik. If anybody has heard of Kik, if your kids are on Kik, get them off. It is an encrypted chat group. And there was 5 of them on a wire platform. He said he distributed CSAM in these groups. He also possessed images and videos containing CSAM on 2 cell phones. That was a St. Louis man. This man, Tyler Elston, 25 years old, he is from Granite City, but he was caught in Venice and he was arrested. He was sharing CSAM and engaging online with what he thought was a minor, talking about engaging in activity. This was November 23rd, Matthew Edison, he's 31, from Godfrey, Illinois. He was arrested in Alton on College in Washington at the Walgreens right there. He also thought he was talking to a 14-year-old to meet up for sexual activity, and he was arrested and charged. Locally, here in Edwardsville, this man, Merle Lemoreau, 43 years old, he was arrested on 10 counts of child pornography. Now, when I said that the boys are very much targeted when it comes to sextortion and CSAM, this young man, Bryce Tate, he was 17 years old, he was a victim, and he shared pictures, and they were demanded $500 to not spread these pictures to friends and family members. The first message was at 4 p.m. The last one was at 7:09 p.m. And it resulted in him taking his own life. 3 hours from beginning to end. So what are we doing about this? Now, I want to say we started the trafficking outreach in 2017. I started serving adult female survivors because they would lose their voice. If you are a child and if you're trafficked, no questions asked, it's a trafficking case. You could have been trafficked when you were 15, discovered when you were 19, and now you're no longer trafficked, now you're a prostitute and you have to prove it. And these girls do not want to face their traffickers, and most of the time, nothing happens anyway. So we started serving the adults, and over time, from being connected with law enforcement in hospitals, healthcare, they would ask us all the time, do you have anything for kids? We come across these children all the time, we have no place to put them, do you have anything? And no, it has been, no, we don't really do that, that's not our wheelhouse. And the requests just kept picking up in urgency and frequency. So I could not ignore it anymore, so we shifted our focus. It was officially decided we would shift in October of 22. And we have taken this time to prepare for the children. So in that, we raise awareness. We do things like this. This is a very brief, I usually do presentations that are about an hour, hour and a half. So if you are interested in actually having this information shared to groups on a more in-depth level, so you can actually understand what it is that's happening and what you can actually do about it, you can book us for podcasts, for trainings and presentations and things. If you go on our website, on the cards that you have there, our website is linked on there, we have a tab that is Tiger Media. And I started this podcast, Traffic Stop Real News Sex Trafficking, in 2020, because I was very tired of the general population dramatizing what human trafficking was and not understanding what it was. So there's many episodes that I interview FBI agents, hospital workers, survivors, other ministries that are serving survivors, and they tell real stories of what happens here every day in America. We offer direct services to survivors. We have Heaven's Home. This kind of offers bookend services for these children. We can serve up to 3 children at a time. We initially start with emergency help. We are support to law enforcement and healthcare workers. If they identify a child that's being trafficked, they can come and stay at our home. And it's short-term emergency placement. We do not unpack a lot of their traumas. We're just there to stabilize them and help facilitate their next move. If that's to go home, if it's to be placed with a foster family, or if they're going into another program that is specifically designed for trafficked survivors. And we are very strategic of who we partner with because we do not want to add insult to injury to these kids. On the back side of it, we offer respite care for children who have faced this and have never received proper care or healing from this. They can come in for a deep dive into some very deep trauma healing. Here's some pictures of the home. That's the house parents. Jesse has been a adolescence trauma counselor for about 15 years. And Joe has been a nurse on many capacities for about 10 years. And both of them specialize in satanic ritual abuse therapies. Yes, that is a thing. So, the house is a lot of fun. There is chickens, there's a trampoline, there's a beautiful play set, and it is a warm, comfortable, loving home. This is a map that shows other services in the country. We are the yellow heart right in the center. Those other hearts are homes that are classified as emergency placement for children who are coming out of sex trafficking. However, I have dug into all of those and not all of them are. But as you can see, there's only a few in the Midwest at all. We are the only one in Illinois that helps with emergency placement. And there's only one other one that's over in Missouri. It's Missouri Baptist Children's Home. And they do adolescents. So it's like 13 to 20 something, but they don't do younger than that. So we are able to serve any age, birth until 17 years old. Developing right now, we have Fresh, that is our headquarters and national training center that is located in Alton. It is being built out right now, and it is the longest project ever. We're ready for it to be done because a lot of goodness is going to come out of this location. So we're going to do a lot of community awareness and education and train other families to step in and do what we're doing with Heaven's Home. We need more services for these kids. And we unexpectedly came across a 25-acre property that we are practicing using right now. And we have the first option to purchase this, but it's a retreat center that will be used for families who have been affected by sexual exploitation, child trafficking, or satanic ritual abuse. And they can come to the property and use it pretty much like their own glorified Airbnb. just check out of life, come in together and just love and just be at peace and get back to life after that. So how do we end human trafficking in America? They say it's the third fastest crime in the world, and I don't believe that. They say it's after guns and drugs, the sale of guns and drugs. But I don't believe that, because you can sell a gun or a drug one time and it's gone, and you can sell a person over and over and over and over. And they usually all go hand in hand anyway. So it's a big problem. But how do we end it? It's pretty easy. We do it together. That's why it's a big deal already. People aren't doing things together. So on the cards that you have on your table, there's a QR code that help you get connected with our ministry and mission and learn the things that are going on. If you would like to also, you can text the word Tigerlili to 84576. That directly connects you from your phone to us. I am the one that sends messages out, and we give updates of just ongoings, volunteer opportunities, prayer requests, building thing, whatever. But it comes from me and I don't spam you. And that is our contact information, which is also on the card that you have. And as the infamous slavery abolitionist William Wilberforce says, you may choose to look the other way, but you can never again say that you did not know. So thank you for listening, and I'll be available for questions later. Yeah.
Questions?
Yes. We can, yes. Yeah, we do speak to schools. Sometimes it's a little harder to get the approval from administration. So we have learned it's better and more effective to go low to go high. So we'll get with small groups, parents and students directly, so we can kind of get real and, you know, get into more personal questions and things like that. So, but yes, we do. And honestly, any place that has open ears and willing hearts to hear, we'll go talk.
All right. Thank you very much.